Good morning, Year 11 English with Miss Huddleston for 2016. At the moment, you are working on your first internal, the research, with 4 credits, and it needs to be due by the end of this term. So I'm just going to go through some of the things that you need to perhaps already have done before you start the writing of your report, just to make sure that we're all on the same page and to make sure that we all understand how we need to go about doing it. So I'm going to use the example of the flag change as something that's happening at the moment. It's something which is quite topical. It's something that affects us all as New Zealanders. Make sure that you remind your parents or your siblings to get their vote in just this week as well. Get this a bit more straight. Boom, that'll do. All right, so the first document that you need to make sure that you have completed is this one, your 1.9 planning document. In the top, where it says main inquiry, you need to make sure that you clearly type out the topic that you are doing. You can also, if you like, add a little question onto the end of it to get the readers thinking about what maybe you are researching. This first box here is where you need to write what you want to know. So I've said reasons why it is changing. Who actually wants it to change? How much will it cost? It seems like they're spending millions and millions of taxpayers' money on changing this flag. I also might want to find out reasons for changing it. Reasons against changing it. I might also want to find out what the flag actually stands for. I know it's got the Union Jack on it, but does that really apply to us today? And then the next one, some possible views are. This is where you think about what are some views or opinions that people might have about your topic to get you thinking. So some people might say that it has got the Union Jack on it, links us to England. Capital E, miss. And this is because we are in the Commonwealth and it shows our allegiance to the Queen. Now, this could be a good thing and a bad thing. And other people might say that the soldiers used this flag during world wars. And so it's a symbol of, a symbol of their participation. Some people might say that New Zealand needs to be more independent. New Zealand needs independence. Time for a change. So I'm already starting to think about the two sides for my topic and what they might mean. What I already know is that they have spent $27 million on the voting. I know that there were 5 options to vote for, and we now have 1 option and the original flag left. Keywords. These keywords are important when you are jumping onto Google and searching, because what you should not do is just, once you've written your questions, copy your question, type it into Google, and hope to find the answer. Google can't interpret for you. You need to use keywords. So I might use things like vote, cost, New Zealand, flag, change, Union Jack, meaning, reasons, for, against. Okay, so those are some of the keywords that I will use when I'm doing my search. Where will I get my information from? Because it's something that's happening at the moment, it's current. Pretty much the only place where I can get this information from will be the internet. I might also find some flyers with info on them, but pretty much going to be the good old internet. Okay, so once you've done all of that, you move down into here. Your sources is where you find information. This stays blank until you have got questions 1 and 2 and potentially 3. Now, these questions that you make are really important. These questions form the basis of your inquiry, and they need to show that you're looking at both sides of the story. So we've got a couple of questions here that we could use as potentials. So one question that I could ask is, how many people agree that the New Zealand flag needs to change? Now, the question you need to ask yourself when you're making these questions is, does my question allow for two sides of the story? A how many question has a very simple answer. It is a number. So this means that you're not actually going to be doing much interpretation or analysis. Avoid questions like that. How about what are some reasons to change the New Zealand flag? Now that allows me to go into some depth. It allows me to find some research. I can find some quotes that the public have said about reasons why they want to change it. I can look at polls about the number of people who are for and the number of people who are against. A question like this allows me to go into some evaluation, into some interpretation, into some analysis. So too does this. What are some reasons not to change the New Zealand flag? A question like that is looking at the reverse of that question. So good, tick. I am answering the two possible points of views for the subject. What were some options for changing the flag? Again, I'm not actually allowing myself to go into much detail. My answer would simply be, there were 5 different options. Two were really similar. One had a red corner, one had a black corner, one had the fern on it, one had a koru on it, and I can actually remember what the other one was. So it doesn't actually allow for much interpretation. But what about who wants to change the flag? Again, my answer is a number. I'm not actually going into this. You're better off looking at reasons to change it, and then you can include the number of people who actually do want to change it and the number of people who do not want to change it. And then lastly, how much money does it cost to change the flag? Again, a how question, the answer is a number. So it's not actually allowing for much interpretation. So the questions that I am going to choose are, what are some reasons to change the flag, and what are some reasons not to change the flag? So I will copy these, paste them into question 1. And some reasons not to change the flag. Once you have got your questions, that is when you start finding your sources. So in Google, I'm not going to just go It's a crazy long question, and Google's like, really? What do you actually want? So what I might instead type is New Zealand flag change. Look at all the options that come up. Poll, cost, debate, options, why. So how about why? Why are we changing it? Your chance to decide, the New Zealand flag debate. Now, also look at the websites. This one here is a government website. So it tells me it's going to be reliable. So what I do is I click on it. Your chance to decide. The 2 choices, flag, facts, ebook. That might be quite interesting. How we got here, meet the panel, resources, more information. And so I can say, this has got some useful information. So I'm going to copy that URL. I'm going to stick it in my source 1. And then what I'm going to do is look for what are some of the reasons to change it. New Zealanders have been debating whether it should be replaced. The decision to change the flag. By law, the flag can be changed by a simple majority. Okay, the thing with research, it does take a lot of reading. So I need to read through all this information and find out where it answers my questions. So it's really important to make sure you understand what your questions mean understand the sort of information that you're looking for. And here you can copy and paste information. And here is where you need to actually evaluate it. So can you please make sure, first of all, that your questions that you choose allow for both options, and then the sources that you use to answer those questions are reliable. Good luck, guys.